Imagine meeting someone who instantly understands your soul, your dreams, your fears, your deepest needs. They call you their twin flame, showering you with attention, praise, and intense future promises. This isn't fate. This is love bombing. And for the high conflict personality, especially the psychopath, it is not genuine affection. It is a calculated, premeditated psychological assault designed for rapid control and information extraction. Welcome to the Resilience Protocol, the channel built by licensed professionals committed to empowering survivors. I'm here to reveal the clinical truth behind this overwhelming intensity and expose the core motive, establishing a primary source of narcissistic supply before you can identify the red flags. If you've experienced this, you know the feeling. The emotional high is addictive, but underneath, a sense of alarming speed. That speed is essential to the manipulator's strategy. Today, we are not just analyzing the cycle, we are disrupting it. We will decode the specific psychological hooks used during the idealization phase and, crucially, provide you with immediate, actionable protocols for emotional neutralization. We are moving past traditional boundary setting advice, which is often ineffective against psychopathy, and introducing advanced techniques, refined gray rock, and forensic detachment. Stay with us. Your path to resilience starts with understanding the weapon wielded against you. First, let's establish a clinical differentiation. Everyone idealizes a new partner early on. That excitement is normal. But psychopathic love bombing operates under two key parameters: speed and pressure. This is a high-velocity operation designed to overwhelm your cognitive defenses. The volume of attention, gifts, praise, and future faking is far disproportionate to the actual length and depth of the relationship. They push for rapid commitment, rapid cohabitation, or rapid emotional merger, often within weeks. Why? Because the intensity is a functional necessity for the manipulator, designed to bypass your typical vetting process and boundary reflexes. The crucial clinical marker separating genuine excitement from psychopathic love bombing is emotional reciprocity. Genuine idealization is shared and builds upon mutual history. Psychopathic love bombing, however, is driven purely by instrumental goals. It's grooming for devaluation. It's a monologue dressed up as a dialogue. The manipulator is giving you exactly what they determined you needed to hear, but they are not emotionally invested in you. They are invested in the supply you represent. Understanding this instrumental nature is the first step toward emotional disengagement. The intensity is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of the manipulator's urgent need for control. The love bombing phase has a hidden agenda, which we call strategic information gathering. The intense questioning and apparent deep interest are not about getting to know you. They are about mapping your psychological vulnerabilities. Think of the psychopath as a deep dive investigator rapidly creating a dossier on your soul. They are identifying your deepest desires, your unmet emotional needs, your past trauma history, and most importantly, your boundaries. They want the specific hooks that guarantee a rapid connection. This information is meticulously collected because it provides the exact blueprint for two things: tailored praise during the idealization phase and precise targeting during the inevitable devaluation phase. The most powerful tool in this phase is mirroring. The psychopath takes the blueprint they just created and reflects it back to you as if it were their own personality. If you love travel, they love travel. If you value intellectual conversation, they suddenly become a scholar. This rapid, synthetic connection creates a profound, but false, sense of destiny and soulmate connection. It feels so right because they literally engineered the perfect match based on the data you provided. This bypasses your typical boundary defenses because you feel like you are finally understood. Never forget, mirroring is camouflage. It is designed to make you feel comfortable enough to drop your guard, allowing them to anchor themselves into your life. Beyond the psychological tactics, love bombing is an exercise in neurochemical warfare. The intense, unpredictable nature of the idealization phase triggers a massive release of reward chemicals in your brain, specifically dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine reinforces the addiction. You keep seeking the source of that intense pleasure. Oxytocin, the so-called cuddle chemical, is rapidly released during acts of intimacy and bonding, chemically forcing a feeling of deep attachment and trust. The psychopath effectively manufactures a chemical cocktail that mimics true, earned intimacy. This manufactured chemical dependency is crucial. It ensures you become addicted to their validation before you can logically process the increasing red flags. This neurochemical manipulation accelerates the formation of a trauma bond. A trauma bond is a dysfunctional attachment that occurs in the presence of danger, characterized by a cycle of intense reward followed by intermittent negative reinforcement. Love bombing sets the groundwork by making the reward phase so extreme that when the inevitable devaluation phase begins, you are chemically wired to cling to the memory of the idealization, believing the real person is still there. This manufactured chemical reliance ensures the victim is attached long before critical judgment can intervene, pushing the relationship past rational decision-making points. The speed is a defensive maneuver by the manipulator to ensure their exit strategy is complex and painful for you. One of the most disheartening truths in recovery is realizing that the standard boundary setting advice, which works beautifully in healthy relationships, fails spectacularly when dealing with a true high-conflict personality like a psychopath. The advice to assert yourself clearly or communicate your needs relies on the presumption of empathy, reciprocity, and shared values. A psychopath possesses none of these. They view boundaries not as mutually respected limitations, but as information, specifically a challenge, or worse, an instruction manual for exploitation. When you establish a boundary with a psychopath, they don't see "stop." They see, "Here is the limit I must push to confirm control." Your boundary tells them precisely where your defensive perimeter is weakest, allowing them to tailor their future manipulations. Assertive communication is often counterproductive, leading to escalation because your reaction, the emotional fuel, is precisely what they seek. Because they utilize others instrumentally, the only boundary that works is one they cannot penetrate and cannot profit from. This sets the stage for our two advanced detachment protocols. Our first advanced protocol is the refined gray rock technique, or RGR. You may have heard of standard gray rock, which focuses on making external communication boring. RGR goes deeper. It focuses on making the communication emotionally meaningless to you. It's internal emotional disengagement. You are not just minimizing interaction, you are neutralizing the emotional supply at its source, regardless of the external provocation. RGR demands that you practice a radical level of psychological detachment, viewing the manipulator's actions as irrelevant noise, not personal attacks. Implementing RGR requires specific scripting. Use extremely flat effect, neutral topics, and maximum brevity. Think, "Yes," "No, I understand," or "That is noted." Avoid any statement that requires emotional investment or conflict, like, "How could you?" or "I feel hurt when." These protocols deny them the fuel they crave. Furthermore, practice inner silence. Regardless of the verbal attack or manipulative bait, remind yourself, this is a performance designed to extract emotion. Your goal is to be a blank wall that offers zero return on their investment. When implemented correctly, RGR renders the interaction unprofitable and accelerates their decision to disengage. The trauma bond is maintained by the emotional narrative they created during the love bombing phase. To break this bond, we introduce Protocol 2, Forensic Detachment. This strategy requires shifting your mindset from processing the relationship emotionally to analyzing the manipulator's behavior as objective data points. You must become the cold, clinical observer of the case file. Stop asking, "Why did he hurt me?" and start documenting. On day 45, the subject promised X, failed to deliver X, and then blamed the failure on Y. This intellectual distance is your shield. Forensic detachment involves actively cataloging inconsistencies, failed promises, and manipulation techniques scientifically. This process is highly therapeutic because it creates overwhelming cognitive dissonance, forcing your rational mind to override the emotional trauma bond. When the memory of the idealized persona flares up, the soulmate from the love bombing phase, you consult the case file. The file proves empirically that the ideal persona never existed. It was a facade backed by measurable behavioral failures. This empirical evidence reinforces reality, accelerating the intellectual decision to disengage and providing concrete proof for your recovery. Remember, the love bombing phase was designed to secure continuous emotional supply. The psychopath is motivated entirely by continuous emotional resource extraction. By implementing refined gray rock, you stop providing emotional validation, drama, and conflict. By utilizing forensic detachment, you remove the internal belief structure that fuels your compliance. You are systematically removing the emotional, financial, and relational supply lines. This is the only effective boundary against a high-conflict personality, removing the profit incentive. The psychopath operates under a cost-benefit analysis. When the cost of maintaining the relationship, the effort required to bait you, manipulate you, and secure supply, exceeds the emotional benefits, they quickly deem the relationship unprofitable. They will then move on to a new, more compliant source of supply. This is not a failure of connection. This is a tactical success of detachment. Understanding this instrumental outcome allows you to stop seeing their departure as abandonment and start seeing it as the logical, clinical conclusion of effective protocol application. You have prematurely ended the destructive cycle. A critical part of recovery is overcoming survivor guilt. If you are struggling with self-blame, asking, "How could I have been so naive?" I need you to understand this. Falling for love bombing is not a sign of weakness or excessive neediness. It is a testament to the sophistication and calculation of the psychopathic strategy. They target universal, healthy human needs for connection, love, and validation. They didn't trick a defect in you, they strategically exploited the healthiest parts of your empathy and hope. You responded normally to an abnormal manufactured stimulus. Reframing this experience is essential for psychological recovery. You must shift the focus from "what did I do wrong?" to "how was I strategically targeted by a personality disorder designed to deceive?" When you reclassify the love bombing as an information gathering tactic and the relationship as an engineered scenario, you reclaim your agency. You move out of the victim role and into the role of the survivor who decoded the dark psychology. This understanding empowers you to build impenetrable, informed boundaries moving forward. Recovery is the process of integrating these tactical lessons into permanent resilience. Once you have initiated RGR and forensic detachment, your focus must shift to reinforcing self-trust. The love bombing phase severely eroded your ability to trust your judgment. To rebuild this, consistently consult your case file when doubt creeps in. Practice extreme vigilance concerning the pace of new relationships. True, healthy connection develops incrementally, respecting boundaries and time. If a relationship accelerates too quickly, if the intensity is disproportionate, you now have the tools to identify the danger early. Commit to maintaining zero contact, or if contact is absolutely unavoidable due to shared children or legal matters, maintain strict adherence to the refined Gray Rock Protocol. Recognize that emotional freedom lies in understanding that detachment is the only effective boundary against psychopathy. Your commitment to these protocols ensures that the manipulation ceases, the emotional supply is cut off, and you move definitively from surviving the cycle to thriving beyond it. You possess the knowledge. Now, you must maintain the discipline. We have clinically decoded the psychopath's love bombing strategy, revealing it not as affection, but as a calculated neurochemical operation for information extraction and rapid control. You now have the protocols to neutralize this strategy. Remember the core principles. First, refined Gray Rock demands internal emotional disengagement to stop providing supply. Second, forensic detachment demands you analyze behavior as data points to shatter the illusion of the idealized narrative. This is your resilience protocol for immediate and long-term protection. If this clinical perspective provided the clarity and validation you needed, please take a moment to subscribe to the Resilience Protocol. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly protocols on mental fortitude and emotional freedom. We are a community built on educated insights and practical healing strategies. Share your success stories below using the refined Gray Rock technique, or let us know what dark psychology topic we should decode next. Thank you for joining us in building resilience. We will continue providing the knowledge you need to move from survival to thriving. Until next time, maintain your detachment, trust your data, and protect your peace.